to the Popish Plot. I'm Nate.
I'm Jessica.
And I'm Mike.
Today, we are here to talk about Saint Elmo.
Yes, Saint Elmo, known for his important question. How could the rock of Peter eat that cookie?
Saint Elmo, who apparently likes being tickled?
Wow. No.
Saint Elmo, who had a pet goldfish named Dorothy?
We are not sainting Muppets.
You see what I have to put up with? And you think I'm the goofy one.
It varies. We all get to take turns.
I just tend to be the goofy one more often.
Tell Saint Elmo. How?
Rocko is not going to eat the cookie. Because Rocko is a rock and he can't eat a cookie.
So today we're going to be talking about not the Muppet Elmo, but the human Elmo, also known as Erasmus of Formia.
Yes. He was born in the 3rd century, died in 303 in Illyricum. Illyricum, now known as Croatia.
And it's a rough estimate of the year.
Yeah, when you're born 3rd century, it's like, well, it was 200 and something. It's up in the upper 200s.
He died, as did so many martyrs, sometime in the reign of Diocletian.
His feast day is the 2nd of June, and his iconic attributes. It takes a little getting used to on this one. You know, usually you see like a book or, you know...
They're holding some kind of flower.
A flower, a cross, something. There's a few ones where, you know, they're holding their eyes or their heart.
I do love the ones that are holding their own head.
Yes.
Like St. Dennis.
St. Elmo has his entrails wrapped around a windlass and or a bishop holding a winch or windlass.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's...
I'm presuming this has something to do with the method of his martyrdom.
Once again, martyrdoms were kind of a thing, and they weren't always pretty.
Well, and sadly, as so many of our brothers and sisters in Africa are experiencing, martyrdom is still a thing.
Yeah, it is. Sorry. If I indicate, I did not mean to indicate that it's not. It's still a thing.
Yes.
It's less of a thing now in most cases than it was at one point in time.
Praise God.
Right.
As with so many early saints, he has multiple patronages.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So let's get the list started. We've got sailors, Gaeta. I'm going to assume that's a place.
Yes.
Santermo and Cole, Formia, colic. Intestinal ailments and diseases, cramps, labor pains, cattle pests. Fort St. Elmo.
That's pretty good.
Is also unofficially the patron.
Yeah, this is very unofficially. I just wrote this up to be silly. However, people would agree with these ones.
No, this is an unofficial patronage for unusual electrical weather phenomena, also known as St. Elmo's Fire.
For Men in Motion, for the Brat Pack, and for 19th century popular literature, and the numerous people named after it.
Yes.
Because there was the second best-selling book of the United States in the mid-19th century called St. Elmo's Fire.
Yep.
Well, it was St. Elmo's, I believe, and it was second only to Uncle Tom's Cabin for a while. It involved a kind of stereotypical story of, from what I could tell, this, rake of a man and this virtuous woman, and they were in love.
Rakes.
But it was so popular that people at the time named their kids Saint Elmo.
Yes.
Not Elmo. Saint Elmo.
Including the first African American to get a PhD in chemistry who is literally named Saint Elmo Brady.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, one of St. Elmo's many patronages is that he's one of the 14 holy helpers who were saints who were extremely popular during the Black Death.
Yep.
And there were 14 of them.
Yes.
Also, he was a bishop, a hermit.
Guess how many 14 holy helpers there were?
A bishop, a hermit. And in case you haven't caught on to this yet.
With the entrails and the whatnot.
A martyr.
Yes. St. Elmo's story, like a number of the saints we've discussed at times, was often confused with a similar named saint of Erasmus of Antioch.
Little known fact, there's only one St. Anastasius. He just has numerous numbers.
in jobs that he was a bishop of, in ways that he was murdered, in backgrounds and era. I mean, that was a bit much.
Okay, we know him as Saint Elmo, but he's also known as Saint Erasmus, and so he was confused with another Saint Erasmus of Antioch. And again, there are multiple Antiochs.
Because, how many times have you had it where somebody's talking about their friend Steve, and you're like, oh, do you mean Steve so-and-so? Like, no. Not Steve so-and-so. Steve Smith.
As someone who grew up named Mike, yes. I'm very familiar with this.
I mean,
But
I'm
please,
not
everybody
reading other
knows
people's
Mike Wilson.
mail if it literally has my name
Mike
on
Wilson.
it.
Do you know Mike Wilson? Of course you know Mike Wilson.
All right, so there are some, most people agree, parts of his life where it wasn't, someone typoed and was talking about the other saint.
Yep. So generally agreed on parts of his life. He was the Bishop of Formia during the persecution of Diocletian. Lived as a hermit for 7 years.
He probably fled to save his life and then lived as a hermit.
When he tried to return, possibly due to a vision of an angel telling him to do so.
Do what angels tell you to do.
I mean, you should test spirits first, but
Yes.
Go back to your sea. The people need you. Seems like probably a good angel response.
Yeah, if an angel appears to you and says, you should go on a bender. No.
But if an angel appears to you and says, you need to go back to the place where you came from because the people you left behind need you desperately. Well,
but anyway, on his way home,
solid.
he was found, tortured,
Dang it.
put in prison. He then escaped,
Woohoo!
possibly
with angelic help.
With angelic help.
I mean, I love all of Act, but my favorite parts of Act are the angelic escapes.
Yes, seriously. I don't want to go to jail.
I especially love when they're knocking on the door and all the people who are praying for them are like, no, it can't be you. You're in jail.
I don't want to be in jail, but if my time in jail could end with an angel busting me out, I'm cool with it.
Dude.
All right. After he escaped, he did many miracles that resulted in many people being baptized.
Hey.
He was then arrested again under the orders of Maximus Hercules.
Maximian
Hercules.
And was tortured more until he escaped again. Like,
Ugh.
most of the descriptions are like, I'm surprised this guy isn't dead. How is he not dead yet? Level of torture.
Here's the thing. I'm going to say right off the bat, it either says something to your fortitude, or to the lack of your captor's abilities to torture, if after being tortured, you then escape.
I'm going to go, given that we've already had an angelic jailbreak,
Yes.
and the Romans were really good at this stuff, I'm going to say more divine intervention.
Sure. Yeah. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. So he then converted more people, of course.
He's not being captured by the Roscoe, what's his name?
Yeah, the Roscoe P. Coltrane.
P. Coltrane, yes.
Yes, and was finally recaptured and killed. Possibly being disemboweled and his intestines wound around a windlass.
Thus, the attributes of Zikons.
However, that could have been a mix-up, and there was an icon of him with the windlass, and, the person was looking at it as like...
They kind of look like entrails.
Yes. He might have been beheaded or otherwise killed, but probably not using the bag animal body of water method.
So we have a relatively high degree of confidence that despite his association with the sea and sailors, there's no sack of water involved.
He's one of the patrons of the sailors for reasons unrelated to being on the sea.
I know, which is great.
He was said to have been preaching when lightning struck next to him, and he kept on preaching. I mean,
Fortitude.
I'm not saying it's not holy fortitude blessed upon him by the act of God.
But grace builds on nature.
Yeah, exactly. This led to sailors praying to him during storms, and them seeing the electrical discharges that were known to happen on the mastheads of ships during storms, to be named after him.
Because that's what St. Elmo's fire is, plasma, electrical charges.
Just before the lightning strikes, you get like this kind of a glow kind of a thing.
And so St. Elmo's fire.
Yep.
Yes, it was generally seen as a good sign that, he was listening to their prayers and they would survive the storm.
Yep.
Which,
but clearly he was a man in motion.
It was olden times, so it wouldn't be like the first thing I would think of when seeing that I am now somehow in a Scooby-Doo script. And old man Jinkson's trying to do a legal land deal somewhere.
Well, but especially if you're in an old-timey boat, which were not that robust, and you're in the midst of a storm, That seems like a good time to pray.
But clearly
Especially
he
when there's
was.
giant blues of light showing up.
But clearly he was a man in motion. You know, they capture him, they torture him, he gets free. Mm-hmm. They capture him, they torture him, he gets free.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Which is not to encourage people who would capture and torture and or kill other people, but why waste your time on the torture?
I'm still trying to see where he's connected with a pair of wheels, but we'll just go with it.
We don't know that wheels weren't involved.
We don't know that wheels weren't involved. A winch is like a wheel.
Exactly.
So, I've always wondered how exactly you get Elmo out of Erasmus, but we'll just go with it.
It's probably
like
along
Bob
the lines.
And Robert. There are some of the same letters.
That's fair.
It's probably along the lines of how you get from James to Diego.
That's a long and torturous route. Yes, yes. Well, no, it's more direct than that. Because nothing is less.
It's not James. It's Yamis.
Well, I'm saying nothing is more is more roundabout than how you get from that to that.
Yeah,
yeah. So Erasmus to Elmo, straight line compared. So most of us no longer make our living by the sea. Most of us are never gone on a long ship voyage, but we can still learn from the great example of St. Elmo.
And pray for all those people who do have to make long ship voyages and make their living by the sea.
Especially when you're enjoying your, Lenten fish.
Mm-hmm. While you're at, go down below to the comments section. And once again, as we say with all of our Saint episodes, throw us some names. Yeah, throw us a bone. Any saint. We can cover this topic. We find information on saints that like nobody knows about.
Someone knows.
Somebody knows.
Yeah, we have sources,
but not a lot of people.
My source is not, I thought of this in a dream. This is real source.
That's fair. All right.
I'm not a visionary. That doesn't count.
We find information on saints that like most nobody knows about. Is that better?
Yeah.
So we can find out information on your saint. Throw their name down in the comments below. We'll see what we can do.
Also, comment below on any other saints who have a really strong connection to a Brat Pack movie.
Or fire or lightning.
For still unclear reasons. Well, I believe St. Barbara was also another one of the 14 Holy Helpers.
Yes.
There's a lot of lightning in the Holy Helpers.
Or cannibals.
Yes. While you're down there, make sure you go and you hit the like button, the subscribe button, the bell next to it so you get notified when new episodes come out. And until next time, as always, remember to live your faith.
Love your faith.
Share that love.